What's up? It's you and me, so let's get straight to it. Right now, the Cowboys sit in a spot where one smart move from the front office can change the entire vibe of this season. You saw the Quinnen Williams trade, bold, disruptive, and a clear signal that Jerry isn't ready to wave the white flag. But here's the kicker. The front seven looks better already. The secondary still looks shaky. That's why this Gilmore chatter matters so much. Not because it's flashy, but because it's surgical. A veteran corner who knows the system, who can settle the locker room and buy young corners time. That's the kind of mid-season addition that doesn't just patch a hole. It raises everyone else's ceiling. Think about how the Cowboys have been built lately. Pass rush pieces up front, athletic playmakers on offense, but the occasional breakdown in coverage forces the defense into risky gambles. When the rush can't finish and the secondary can't hold, the entire plan collapses. Adding a proven veterans changes opposing game plans. Suddenly teams can't just attack the short middle or third down seams without thinking twice. That's value you don't always see on the stat sheet. It's the difference between getting to the quarterback clean and getting him to hold on to the ball 2 more seconds. Quick check for you. Do you want Jerry to go after experienced vets in season, or should he stick with developing the young guys? Type yes if you want veterans now, no if you want youth and reps. And while you type that, do me a favor. If you want more trade reaction like this, hit that like button and subscribe to help us hit 17,000 subscribers. Every new sub helps us break down the moves faster for you. All right, I've set the table. Next, we'll look at the specifics. Which coverage spots are bleeding the most minutes, how Quinnen Williams helps up front, and why a guy like Stefon Gilmore could be the exact stabilizer this roster needs. Let's break down where this roster actually leaks minutes, because the problem isn't always not enough pass rush. It's timing and trust between the front and the secondary. You've seen what Quinnen Williams does up front. He collapses pockets, draws double teams, and gives guys like DeMarcus Lawrence cleaner lanes to rush the quarterback. That helps immediately. But when the rush can't finish, or the QB escapes, you still need cornerbacks and safeties who can hold receivers in man coverage and protect the middle on third down. Right now, that's been the recurring issue. With Trevon Diggs out, a ton of responsibility fell on Deron Bland and the rest of the group. Bland has been a warrior. He can play every down. But you can't ask one man to shadow WR1s every week and expect the back half of your defense not to bend. The depth pieces behind him, Kaiir Elam, Siobhan Revel Jr., CJ Goodwin and others, have flashed, but not consistently enough. Opposing offenses see that and game plan to attack the secondary with quick routes and seam concepts, forcing the Cowboys to either blitz more, which leaves coverage one-on-one, or play conservative zones that give up chunks. Neither is ideal when you're trying to protect a lead or make a late-game stop. Quinnen Williams helps mask some problems by making the pocket smaller and creating more hurried throws. But hurried isn't the same as inaccurate when the secondary can't hold its leverage. What you really want is a veteran presence who stabilizes technique, communicates pre-snap, and takes the toughest matchups. Not just for a few plays, but for entire series. That's why the Gilmore chatter resonates. He's someone who can shadow or rotate and bring a coach-on-the-field vibe to the young corners. He's not a miracle patch for every coverage lapse, but he's a strategic layer that shifts how opponents attack you. Here's a simple question for you to answer in the comments right now. Which opponent has given our secondary the most trouble this season? The Eagles or the Cardinals? Type Eagles or Cardinals, and one sentence why. I'll read the top replies and call out the best ones in the next video. Also, quick practical note on snap management. Adding a vet helps you rotate more reasonably. You can keep Blonde fresher on critical downs, give Kaiir Elam targeted reps in matchups that suit him, and use scheme to hide younger guys when needed. That's how you turn a patchwork secondary into a reliable group. Not only by adding rushers, but by creating a balance of pressure and trustworthy coverage. If you want deeper breakdowns like this, where I show specific plays and how the matchups would change with a veteran, hit that like button and subscribe to help us reach 17,000 subscribers. If enough of you push for a tape study, I'll do a full film session on Gilmore's last Cowboys stint and what his presence would actually change in Dan Quinn's scheme. All right, next up we'll dive into Stefon Gilmore specifically. What he still brings on the field, what the health and age concerns are, and a realistic risk-reward grid for signing him now. All right, let's get into Stefon Gilmore, because this isn't just about a familiar name. It's about fit and where the Cowboys are right now. You already heard the headline. Gilmore spent the 2023 season in Dallas and produced reliably. Not the all-pro peak he had years ago, but a professional, steady presence who started every game and cut the completion rate down when targeted. That matters for a team whose secondary is being asked to carry more than it should. What you need to weigh is three things: what he still brings on the field, what the off-field and locker room impact looks like, and what the realistic downsides are. Let's run those down cleanly. On the field, Gilmore still offers technique and IQ. He isn't a guy you outwork with physicality alone. He wins with route recognition, press leverage, and knowing when to bait quarterbacks into risky throws. That's huge for a unit where younger corners sometimes get greedy or misread routes under pressure. Schematically, Dan Quinn's defense can use a player like Gilmore two ways. You slide him to the toughest matchup and let him shadow a WR1, or you rotate him inside and outside to stabilize game plan coverage. Either option reduces the coach's need to send extra rushers and gives the defensive line more room to operate. In plain terms, Gilmore can make the defense less binary, less all rush or all cover, and more balanced in-game. Leadership and availability matter just as much. The transcript notes he was medically cleared and said he wanted to play in 2025. That's a powerful signal. A veteran who wants the work and already knows the locker room culture is easier to plug in than someone learning everything from scratch in season. He brings a coach-on-the-field vibe, the kind of presence that calms a young secondary, fixes pre-snap communications, and helps younger players with technique during the week. That mentorship effect isn't an abstract bonus. It shows up in fewer blown coverages and better situational football late in games. Now the reality check, age and snap load. Gilmore isn't the 20-something shutdown corner of his peak in New England. He's a veteran whose body needs management. Signing him is a low-risk, medium-reward move if the team uses him smartly. Rotate him, avoid forcing him to be a full-game shadow every week, and let him pick and choose high-impact matchups. The risk is one thing. Teams forget: availability. If you expect him to play every snap without a plan to manage reps, the vet's effectiveness drops and you lose the development time for youngsters. So the front office has to be surgical. Sign him to a smart contract and have a snap management plan that preserves his strengths. Finally, the development trade-off. Do you burn valuable reps you could give to Kaiir Elam or Siobhan Revel by handing them fewer critical downs? That's a coaching and philosophy question. My realistic take. Gilmore isn't a full replacement for building long-term depth, but he's a bridge. He buys the Cowboys breathing room to develop young corners without losing the season now. Low cost, high situational upside, locker room leadership. That's the risk-reward profile. Quick call to action. In one line, tell me, can Gilmore still lock down WR1s for a full game? Reply yes or no, and add one short reason why. If you want a deep film breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe to help us hit 17,000 subscribers. I'll cut a full tape study of his last Cowboys stint if enough of you want it. Here's the bottom line: If Jerry and the front office can sign Stefon Gilmore to a short-term, low-cost deal with a clear snap management plan, I'd bring him back. That's a practical, risk-managed move that gives the Cowboys immediate, tangible benefits. On-field technique, matchup flexibility, and a coach-on-the-field presence for younger corners. It's not a forever solution, and it shouldn't be treated like one. The smart version of this signing looks like this: a one-year deal, or veteran minimum. Defined rotation so Gilmore is used in high-leverage snaps and big matchups. And a plan that preserves reps for Kaiir Elam, Shavon Revel Jr., and the other youngsters so they continue to develop. Done right, Gilmore is a bridge. He buys breathing room for the coaching staff while still improving the team this season. What to watch next if the Cowboys pursue this? First, roster mechanics. Adding Gilmore requires a 53-man spot, which usually means the front office will either promote a practice squad corner or create cap roster space through a minor move. Keep an eye on names currently on the practice squad and reserve lists. Players like Corey Ballantyne, Zion Childress, Robert Rochelle, or Julius Wood could be part of the internal chessboard. Second, watch the usage plan during the first 2 games after any signing. If Gilmore is immediately played every snap as a full-time shadow, that's a red flag. It defeats the purpose. If he's rotated, targeted to big matchups, and used to mentor youngsters, that's the smart deployment. Third, monitor health language and how coaches talk about his role in press conferences. Coaches usually telegraph a snap management plan before it becomes public. Short-term moves the Cowboys might also consider alongside a Gilmore signing. A waiver wire sweep for cheaper depth corners if available. Promoting one of the younger DBs for specific packages, or even a light shift in special teams personnel to preserve roster flexibility. Those are the little moves that add up and let the team keep both veteran stability and future upside. Now, the fan part. I want you in this. Type Gilmore in the comments if you want the Cowboys to sign him now, or Young if you'd rather the coaches give full reps to Kaiir Elam and company. Keep it short. 1 word and 1 sentence why. I'll read the best takes and feature a few in the next video. Also, if you want me to cut a full film breakdown showing Gilmore's last Cowboys snaps and exactly how he'd be used in Dan Quinn's scheme, say film, and I'll prioritize that if enough of you ask for it. If you like this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 17,000 subscribers, and share the video with another Cowboys fan who needs to weigh in.